That's
You ready? Let's go!
Happy Tuesday. Just got up here. Also, I'm in the Apple store here. The products sell themselves. We're getting some new gear, and I'm almost in here every month with some gear. So, I don't know how you feel about Apple, but I love the aesthetic here. You guys staircase as well. Right, well, wherever you're at.
Call it magic, call it true, call it magic when I'm with you.
Turns out my limiting belief was that I couldn't be hard and soft at the same time, which means you can't be driven and disciplined and always on the ball, right, and moving and pushing forward, and still being in the moment, chill, relaxed, laid back, kicking back with your friends. And that was a limiting belief I discovered. I just finished the tickets process at the end of day 3 of UPW.
I don't when anybody else but you.
I replaced that limiting belief with an empowering belief that I can go hard at being soft, so to speak, right? Like, you can be driven to be relaxed, which is really cool.
And with all your magic, I disappear from view, and I can't get over.
Discovered that there's another level. Whenever I think I'm at I don't have anything else to do, then you discover when you're at the top that the top of what you think is top, that there's always another level. So go to UPW.
Such a precious jewel, and I don't, and I don't, and I don't, and I don't. No, I don't. It's true. I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. When anybody else but you, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. It's true. I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't.
Cabin crew outdoors and cross-check.
Yo, vlog on the plane. I wanted to mention we're flying purely on miles. I've never paid for a business class or first class flight ever. These are all miles. So there's lots of ways to figure that out. I cover how I do it in Lifestyle Mastery, but I guess it's kind of rare. People don't know about this, but a lot of people can fly in miles. And I just heard that there are more miles in circulation than all of Bitcoin currency. I think it's like, well, I can't remember the exact number. Anyway, also, they just finished 2 weeks in Singapore, well, finishing, and a lot more taxing than I thought it was when it finished. So a few days ago, started coming down with some sniffles and runny nose, you know. And one of the things I noticed was, so the last weekend was, we went to a Tony Robbins event, Unleash the Power Within. And after the first night, the first day of Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within, there was quite a lot of meditative exercises, and I thought, because we were in such a rush to get there on the Friday and the Saturday, etc., that I could skip meditation. So I did, but then I skipped Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you know, and Wednesday I haven't meditated. So it's 5 fucking days. So I've never skipped that. That's the longest stretch I've ever gone without meditating for 4 years, since I started meditating. So I'm sure that had a toll on the body, because meditation is one of my ways of restoring myself very quickly, and I learned my lesson. But nursing myself with chamomile tea, I almost spilled that. So one thing I wanted to talk about in the car ride over, but a quick version of it now, and then we'll do a podcast on it a longer podcast later, but I've finally been getting a lot of questions about true self and the work that I had put out 3, 4, or more years ago. A big course that was over 60 hours of content, over 11 weeks content, was called Limitless. And we stopped selling that a couple years ago. But you know, there's another course out there that's owned by a friend of mine that I was the talent on, that I created the content for, but they own it and market it, and that's still out there. And then a course that I do, which is a feeder course, it's like our beginner's course, which is called Invincible. And in those 3 courses, Invincible and Desire System are still being sold, are like for Invincible, like 40% of it is strategies, tactics, how-to, step-by-step how-to of how to be attractive, whether men or women, in fact. Women could use it too, they just need a little bit of tweaking. And anyway, so the question I've been finally getting is, how is this still helpful? Is it harmful? It's not your true self after all. And it's true. There's nothing, so I just want to put this out there, there's nothing at all wrong with creating an adaptive self. We have personas all the time. When you go to a Tony Robbins event, you're learning to adapt a new persona, a new adaptive self, a powerful self. And that's a part of you just as much as any other part of you. What I've been pointing out in my 1 hour plus seminar series is that it's only dangerous, the adaptive selves, or false self, which has a more negative connotation, is only dangerous when you think that it's your true self. If you mistakenly think, if you hope to God that it's your true self, then it's dangerous, because then you're not paying any attention to your true self. Your true self is not running the show. It's your persona. So that's really important. There's nothing at all wrong with learning how to speak to people better, how to be funnier. Fuck, man, a lot of you guys need to lighten the fuck up. A lot of people who write comments in my stuff and who post things are pretty uptight, and they could benefit a lot from improv comedy, just loosening up. And will that be a persona? Yeah, partly. You can have a really funny guy persona. Your shy guy persona is also equally a persona. Those are all, personas are fine and helpful, and they're adaptive. You use them to adapt to life. There's nothing wrong with them, and it's the only time when it's wrong is, the only time it could be harmful is if you mistakenly think that that's who you are, and you really hope that's who you are, your true self, because you're so ashamed of your actual true self that, I hope that wasn't too loud, but that you're so ashamed of your true self that you hope that this new false self is your true self. Then it's dangerous. But if you're just like, I'm going to be this way for that intended effect, that's what boardroom voice is for, and that's what playful child like you, when you're playing with your kids, is for. These are very important adaptive selves. Adaptive means you're adapting to the situation. So those are important things to keep in mind. There's nothing wrong with that. What I've just been pointing out is a lot of guys who start on learning how to adapt to be more attractive sexually actually hope that are so insecure about who they really are that that they hope that adaptive self is the true self. So there you go. Enjoy the flight.
When anybody else but you wanna fall so far. Wanna fall